All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Rekakwadash. All blessings, honor, glory, and power be unto the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahweh, through his only begotten Son, our Lord and our Savior, whose name is Yahweh Shai, and double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, who taught me his truth, and salutations to the elect scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. My name is Amor Gabar, and I'm back with another quick lesson. Lord willing, is edifying, quick, fast, straight to the point. And like I said, like I mentioned earlier, in the in transit video I had did this morning, I said I will come back with a live stream during the Sabbath. So I just want to continue off in some precepts that I had that I didn't bring out this morning. But the title of this video is When People Realize That Things Just Ain't the Same No More. And I took this title or this quote, I'm gonna say from the bro out there in the West Coast, the priest, Micah Allah. You know, he just got off doing a live stream and he had made this statement as I was watching it. And when people realize that things just ain't the same no more, they're gonna bug out. They're gonna question from whence it came. You know, they're gonna just be tripping, bugging, seeking answers. And reality is gonna smack them, you know, in their face. So what I typed in real quick was sudden realization, because that's what's gonna happen. There's gonna be an epiphany moment for most of these people. So I typed in sudden realization. It says a sudden realization is most commonly known as an epiphany, an aha moment, or a moment of clarity. It's a sudden, transformative, sudden. Remember, the scriptures always talk about suddenly. All right, it emphasized suddenly. You see, sudden is a common word that's thrown around in the precepts or the scriptures when it comes down to judgment. So it's a sudden transformative understanding of something previously unclear. So what was previously unclear, real talk, is the prophecies to these people. Just like the one dude that came up to the NY camp, the midweek camp, and was like, you know, y'all was right all the time. Y'all was right. Y'all was right. You know, at first I didn't really see it, you know, somewhere along those lines. But at first he didn't see it. It was unclear to him. But now it's become a more clearer understanding as to what's happening, because the prophecies are happening. The prophecies are taking place. So it's a sudden transformative understanding of something previously unclear. So we approaching a time where these things are not going to be unclear anymore. It says often providing a new perspective on a problem or situation. So what these people are beginning to realize is that there's new perspective on this particular problem, which what the problem is Esau getting ready to set up his so-called empire as far as going further into his new world order. And then when shit start to get drastic and people start to get their rights and freedom stripping from them, they're gonna wonder from whence it came. How did this happen? Where is this coming from? But we've been telling you this whole time that this shit is about to go down. All hell is getting ready to break loose. But people laughed, they mocked, they despised, they misused the prophets and the messengers of the Most High. So when this thing go down, it's on you. Whatever happens is on you. Whatever judgment comes is on you. So again, it's often providing a new perspective on a problem or a situation, and that's sudden realization. All right, sudden realization. So these people about to get hit with a sudden realization. That's why the title of the video is When People Realize That Things Just Ain't the Same No More. And I'm gonna use this to land back off of the video that I put up earlier. You had that one Jake in the intro of the video I had put up, talking about you must be crazy, you out your mind. You know, don't listen to these people on TikTok. If you think President Trump, as crazy as he is, if you think he's just gonna shut things down and blah blah blah, you out your mind. That's what this nigga was saying. You out your mind if you think Trump is just gonna take away this, take away that, blah blah blah, because it will lead us into a recession. It will lead to all hell breaking loose, and it's just not gonna happen. That's what this nigga was talking about. But guess what's gonna happen? He's gonna get hit with a sudden realization, aha moment, an epiphany, and then he's gonna realize that, yo, nigga, I'm wrong. You was wrong this whole time. All right, you was wrong. You was dead wrong. All right, and that's gonna be the majority of these people when the Lord bring that sudden destruction upon them. So, like I said, I'm gonna make this quick, fast, straight to the point, and read the remaining few precepts that I had from earlier this morning. When I caught my tire blew out or whatever. So I read Ezekiel the 14th chapter. Let me go to Ezekiel the 5th chapter. This is Ezekiel chapter 5, and I'll start at verse 13. It says, "Thus shall mine anger be accomplished, and I will cause my fury to rest upon them, and I will be comforted, and they shall know that I am the Lord. That I, the Lord, have spoken it in my zeal when I have accomplished my fury in them." What the Lord is about to do is bring fury upon the house of Israel. All right, Yasharallah. It says, and matter of fact, everybody, anyone that's here on the shores of Babylon is gonna feel it. But understand this: that this judgment is coming down to judge two main characters: the Edomites and the Israelites, the 2/3 of the nation of Israel. The other nations are just extras. The house of Esau got to be judged, and the 2/3 of the house of Israel must be judged, and the remnant of the house of Israel will be delivered. So the two main characters will always be Jacob and Esau. So verse 14 says, "Moreover, I will make thee waste, and a reproach among the nations that are round about thee, in the sight of all that pass by. So shall it be, or so it shall be, a reproach and a taunt, an instruction and an astonishment unto the nations that are round about thee, when I shall execute judgments in thee in anger and in fury and in furious rebukes. I, the Lord, have spoken it. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine." Famine is coming. Here it is, Esau, Edom, is cutting off all these, SNAP benefits or benefits in general. The big, beautiful bill, look it up. That one Jake that I mentioned earlier, talking about everybody on TikTok is gaslighting. They gaslighting, they don't know what they talking about, they ain't reading the big, beautiful bill, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. But really, most of these niggas don't want this shit to go down the way we want it to go down, or the way the Lord has a plan to go down. Really, they're afraid. Like a brother said in the comment, they're in denial. You know what I'm saying? They're in denial. They don't want this to happen. But yes, that's what's going to happen. All right. These people are going to lose their benefits. First of all, you saw talking about they got to report to Job Corps or whatever and just, update, blah, blah, blah. Most of these people are not used to that shit. They're not used to it. So all around about is just going to get ugly. It's going to be a real sticky situation. And a lot of these people going to feel it. They're going to feel it. All right. Them $1,000 EBT a month is going to be reduced to $200. Most of these women out here talking about they going to multiply baby daddies and shit, for benefits and Section 8 and housing benefits and perps and all that. All that shit's coming to an end. What are they going to do when this shit go down? Ask them. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. Go ask them. I'm sure we all know one or two or three of them. Go ask them what the hell they going to do. So anyway, it says, "When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you, I will increase the famine upon you and will break your staff of bread." Again, like I mentioned in the last lesson, the staff of bread represents what? The food supply, the food chain, how you get your food, all right? How you get your imports, going to your local food distributors, and it goes to your local department stores, supermarket, BJ's, Costco's, and all them other big chain food supply stores or whatever. The Lord's gonna break all of that shit. So verse 17, "So will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee. Meaning what? They're gonna tear your children apart. You know, a lot of men are gonna die. You know, scriptures tell us that in the Apocrypha of Second Ezra that a lot of men are gonna die because they're gonna be going to these wars. They're gonna be drafted. You know, and if they don't get drafted to Esau's military wars, they're gonna take it upon themselves to be drafted into the streets. What do I mean by that? Civil unrest. You know, I gotta provide for my family. I gotta feed my family. Shit is looking. I'm talking about the 2/3, because the elect men ain't gonna be doing that shit. You know, but the regular average Joe Schmo, you know, he's gonna be on that type of time with no understanding. You know, I gotta provide. I gotta do that. That's why the scriptures say that their husband shall die in the streets. You know, because of the wars and so on and so forth. Read the book of Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, the whole chapter, all the way towards the end, which leads into the 4th chapter. So war is coming. War is coming. And a lot of people are going to be at it with each other because of the lack of bread. It says, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee. Remember that pestilence is coming. We have not seen a great pestilence here in Babylon just yet. You know, we have our speculations. We did our videos as far as to what the Jews possibly could be doing to these people in the near future. And guess what? That near future is here. We've been talking about how the juice is going to affect these people since the year 2020. Here it is, we are 5 years later. We still have yet to see, you know, besides the people that have been, what's the word? Damn, I forget the damn word that they use. But pretty much not able to produce offspring. Not euthanized, but there's another word for this shit. Slipped my mind right here. But if somebody know what I'm talking about, a lot of these people just sterile. There you go. I think the word is sterile. Sterile. They can't niggas busting blanks. You know, women out there, eggs is dead. You know what I'm saying? That's all part of, you know, Esau's population control. You watch that series Utopia, they clearly illustrate to you what the hell they trying to do or what the hell they are doing. So besides sterilizing people, you know, killing off their ability to reproduce, they're also, I believe, you know, when that time comes, Esau ain't stupid. The nigga, he is stupid, but he ain't that dumb. But I believe also that niggas that took the juice, somehow, somewhere, shit is just gonna pop off. This is like a ticking time bomb. You know, killing 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. So that's the pestilence, and then whatever they get ready to unleash. It says, and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, the Lord, have spoken it. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to bring that sword. The sword is the weapon. And when it says, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, it's not going to happen to the elect. It's not going to happen to those that trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And that's the book of Psalms 91 and 1. It says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. All right. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High. This is the secret place. Everybody don't have access to this thing. All right. It's not all, you know, it's just not out there for everybody to receive. You know, this is a exclusive event only for the elect. All right, the chosen of the Lord. So it says, surely he shall deliver thee from the snares of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence, which is going into the destruction. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. All right, the book of Proverbs, the 3rd chapter. All right, verse 5, verse 6. All right, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. It says, his truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor for the arrows that fly by day. Hey, we're not afraid of the missiles. You know, we pray that we all deliver from that. But at the same time, we're not afraid because we know this is the issues of the Lord's indignation. This is his weapons that he's getting ready to use. Why would he use his weapons against his chosen, especially in these latter times. It's not going to happen. We can only pray and hope that we part of the Lord's chosen. So verse 6, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. All right, and some of the destruction or pestilence that walketh in darkness is these diseases. All right, these plagues, these pestilence that Esau, Edom, CDC, WHO, blah, 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 whatever, are going to unleash in Babylon. Hey, bro, it's going to be a real dark time out here. All right, people, that's why people, when people realize that things just ain't the same no more, as the title of the video, motherfuckers going to realize that, yo, what the hell? Where this shit came from? What you mean where it came from? We've been, from the apostles on down, Apostle Tara on down, we've been broadcasting this thing every step of the way. So what the hell do you mean, where did it come from? Nigga, it came from the Lord. That's where it came from. We've been telling you that. What's your excuse? What you got to say? We tell you it came from the Lord. What you going to say now? You going to rebuttal that? So the hell with these people. So that was a quick precept. Let me go back to the precepts that I have. And I'm going to wrap it up. That was Ezekiel chapter 5 and verse 17. I ended that. I'm going to get another one real quick. This is Ezekiel chapter 14, and I'll start at verse 12. It says, the word of the Lord came again to me, saying, Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, then will I stretch out mine hand upon it, and will break the staff of the bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast from it. All right, so we living in a time where the Lord is going to truly send a famine. He's going to send two types of famine. Famine of hearing the word, and the famine of eating. People not going to be able to eat, drink, snack, or whatever. Them cravings are going to really touch your belly this time, man. The Lord's getting ready to turn shit up. The original inspiration for this video, of course, like I said, I was going to do a continuation. Lord willing, I try to be a man of my word to the best of my ability and deliver. But at the same time, like I said, it's going into, people losing SNAP, or having to intensify their requirements to receive SNAP benefits or whatever. Matter of fact, the scriptures say this. Hold on. Book of Isaiah 32 and 12, but I'm going to start up a couple verses. Matter of fact, the point is in 12, I'll start up some, just to give it some meat. Isaiah 32 and 1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a cover from the tempest, as rivers of waters in a dry place, and as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken. And who's going to hear? Who's going to see? The elect. It says, the heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge, and the tongue of the stammerer shall be ready to speak plainly. The elect. We are delivering this word right now. And I say we, Lord willing, I'm part of the elect. It says, and the vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful. Who's the vile person? Esau, Edom. All right. He's not going to be called liberal anymore. A churl is a dirty, rotten scoundrel. Look it up. A dirty, rotten scoundrel. Like Jeru the Damager had a song back in the 90s called Dirty, Rotten Scoundrel. That's Esau, Edom. All right. He's not going to be called bountiful no more. It says, for the vile person will speak valiantly or villainy, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against the Lord. Here it is, you got the WEF and WHO and all these different organizations talking about that the Most High made a mistake. The Heavenly Father was incorrect. Merging man with machine and just what's his nigga name? Harari, whatever the fuck. That little skinny, puny twig, Elamite looking mother effer from the WEF. Talking about the Most High is incorrect. God is incorrect. We could do things better than God, blah, blah, blah. That's what you're saying. You are uttering error against the Lord. It says to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fall or to fail. Verse 7, the instrument also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked device to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh upright. And that's the MO of Esau Edom. All right. Yeah, that's right, brother. Yuval Noah Harari. That damn heathen. Listen, he gonna beat that nigga ass to shreds in the kingdom. That proud ass devil. And he just a spokesperson at the end of the day. He not even the face of evil, so to speak. Like I'm talking about, he is evil, but I'm talking about the elites. But that little piece of shit, we gonna punch a shell at that nigga with spiritual power and just a flaming fist of fury and just captivity, man. I'm telling you, bro. These proud ass devils. Now I did a video, I think it was sometime last year or the year before, but this nigga was, when he was really uttering error against the Lord. If I find it in the archives, I'll probably re-upload it or do a land back. But that's Esau for you. So the instruments also of the churl are evil. He devises wickedness or wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh the right. Who's the needy? Who's the poor? Who speaketh the right? The elect. And Esau still is trying to come to devour and destroy and to do away with the righteous. But it's not going to happen. It says, but the liberal deviseth liberal things, and by liberal things shall he stand. And it says, rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. For the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. So the harvest, the food, the gathering, it's not going to come. There's going to come a point in time, in society, in this life, in this very life. Don't think, however old you are, don't think it's going to be 10 years in the future. You're going to be 10 years older than you are now, 20 years old. No, in this lifetime, as we speak, this shit is getting ready to pop. The stage is set. We just waiting for it, man. At the end of the day, we're prisoners of hope, and we are truly waiting for this shit to go down. There's going to be a famine. There's going to be when the Lord withdraw the bread and say, that's it. I'm going to break the staff of bread. I'm going to break the stay and just, they're going to drink water and measure and eat and measure. And that's rationing. All this shit is getting ready to happen. So it behooves you to move with fear in Yahweh Shem Yahushua to make sure to the best of your ability that when this shit go down, that, hey, you're on the right side of judgment, or we on the right side of judgment. So again, many days and years shall you be troubled, ye careless women. For the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. And who's going to feel it the most? First, women. And who's going to feel it second? Children. And who's going to feel it third? Men. All right, why? Because Esau gave these women all types of perks and benefits and this and that and this to make them think that they were independent, but that is a damn illusion, bitch. You depending on a nigga to give you some shit. How the hell you independent when you literally depending on another individual, a man, all right, Edomite man, the government, all right, which is ruled by men, all right, ruling class of Edomite men, all right, to provide things for you, but you calling yourself independent. That's a damn illusion. Now that illusion is going to be broken. You're going to realize, bitch, you was never fucking independent to begin with. And all the men that you done dogged out and, did dirty, blah, 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 whatever, who probably wasn't no good anyway. But now them niggas is going to be your knight in shining armor and all that shit. Your knight in shining armor. you praying that they come and rescue you from your motherfucking distress. But let's see if that's gonna happen. All right. Because again, the women gonna feel it first, and then the children, because it's gonna pass down to them, because they can't provide and feed them, fucking Oreos and Lunchables and Kool-Aid and shit like that. Things that's killing them. All right. You can't get them that. Can't shut them up with a damn snack, so she could go thot off. All right. And then little kids are gonna feel it, and then the men are gonna feel it at the end of the day. So anyway, it says, verse 11, tremble ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare and gird sackcloth upon your loins. That means to lament, mourn. All right, mourn. Hey, Yahweh Shah said it. When those women that were following him, all right, when he was bearing his cross, the Lord was like, yo, listen, don't cry for me. Cry for yourself and what's about to happen to you. That's what the Lord said, straight cold. Even at the lowest point of him getting ready to get, persecuted and feel that fire, Yahweh Shah, he told you women out there, yo, don't lament for me. Matter of fact, if a brother could find it faster than I can, put it up there. And I'll read it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'm trying to think of the key words. Let's see. I think I got it. Let me see. Nah, this ain't it. Hold on. Let me see. I got it. This is Luke chapter 23 and verse 27. I start at 26. Luke 23:26. It says, and as they led him away, they laid hold upon one Simon, a Cyrenian, coming out of the country, and on him they laid the cross. And that's a spirit, because Simon, which is the Hebrew for Shemaiwan, it means affliction heard. So this man named Simon came and helped bear Yahweh Shai's cross, right? Because it says that he might bear it after Yahweh Shai. So Shemaiwan or Simon means affliction heard. So, through the spirit, the Most High Yahweh heard Yahweh Shai's affliction and sent him a man by the name of Shemaiwan in the Hebrew to help bear Yahweh Shai's cross, because Yahweh Shai's affliction was heard, which Shemaiwan or Simon mean affliction heard. So verse 27, and there followed him a great company of people and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. But Yahweh Shai, turning unto them, said, remember, this is Luke 23, so Yahweh Shai already got whipped, scourged, beaten, bleeding, catching hell. But he cared enough to turn and say, pause for a moment and listen here, women. All right. What did he say? He said, daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. So I ain't make that up. Who's going to feel it the hardest? Women and children. And then men. All right. Even Yahweh Shai said that. So I'm just backing up what the Lord said. Okay. And that's what you see on TikTok and Instagram and blah, 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 YouTube, whatever tube. Who's crying? You don't see niggas up there crying about no SNAP benefits. Niggas up there talking about, damn, they gonna cut my SNAP benefits, and niggas crying, yo, bro, that'll be the laughing stock of the week, the month, if a nigga's up there talking about he crying for SNAP benefits. It's women. A nigga just know how to get it. If he can't get it, he gonna be quiet about it and just suffer in silence. Something that women can't do. So the Lord said, Yahweh Shai said, weep for yourselves and for your children. For behold, the days are coming in which they shall say, blessed are the barren. A barren, or a woman that's barren, is a woman that cannot bear children. Why? Why is it blessed of a woman that can't bear children? It says, in the wombs that never bear, and the paps, which never gave suck, because it's gonna be in you will be in a better situation during these times to just be dolo, single, just you and your man. Or if you never got a chance to marry and just you, and you still under your father's household and he got to take care of you, you better off than being, you know, off and, into a relationship or a marriage, I should say. You got like 5 children and the siege came. You should read about the history, read about Masada, read about that, the Josephus and all of that, man. Read about it. This shit got ugly. And is it going to be another, this is going to be 70 AD 2.0 on steroids. All right. But the beauty is that the Lord will, in this time, deliver his chosen, deliver his elect. All right. Back then, it wasn't a time to be delivered, but now is the time to be delivered. So that's why Yahweh Shai made that statement back then, because he knew around 40 years later, 50 years later, that 70 AD would have happened. All right. 70 AD would have went down, the siege of Jerusalem, the diaspora, the dispersing of the Israelites from Jerusalem. So we're entering into some very dire times. So let me go back to that precept I was reading. Hold on, where was I? I don't think I bookmarked that. Give me a minute. Wait a second. Oh yeah, okay. Isaiah 32. So Isaiah 32 and 11, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled ye careless ones, strip you and make you bear gird sackcloth upon your loins. It says, they shall lament for the teats. They shall lament. So lament, they're going to be in a state of lamentation for the teats. What a TEATS is talking about milk. All right, that's the udder or the breast from a cow. So they're going to lament for the food, for the milk. And it says for the pleasant field and for the fruitful vine. So the crops, the food, your corn, your wheat, your bread. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to just do away with all of that. And then there's going to be great lamentation. Who's going to lament first? The women. It says, upon the land of my people shall come up thorns and briars, yea, upon all the houses of joy in the joyous city. And this did take place and happen during the time of Jerusalem. All right. But it's going to happen again in Jerusalem, meaning the people, all right, where Israel dwell at, which is right here in Babylon the Great. So the Lord's getting ready to shut shit down. And when people realize that things just ain't the same no more, they gonna bug out. All right, so I got another preset, and I'm gonna close it out. Like I said, Lord willing, this will be quick, fast, 30 minutes, 34 minutes. That's pretty fast, for me. So let me see. Let me read this again. Ezekiel 14 and 13. Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, then will I stretch out my hand upon it, and will break the staff of bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast from it. So did not this land, America, Babylon the Great, or everywhere where Israelites are, did not Israelites sin against the Lord by trespassing grievously? Though it doesn't matter where. All right. Yes, Israelites trespass grievously, going astray, went aside, backsliding. So what is the Lord going to do? He going to stretch his hand out upon it, and will break the staff of bread thereof, and will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast. So niggas are going to die, bitches are going to die, people are going to die, and beasts are going to die. What beasts? If the beasts die, they go your food. They go your chicken, your cow, your goat, your lamb. You know what I'm saying? The lawful foods to eat. There you go. You know what I'm saying? They go your ox. They go everything. And then people are obviously going to turn to cannibalism and unlawful meats. You're going to have people out here, so-called civilized people out here eating rats. You know what I'm saying? They show you that in the movie Demolition Man, when you had people that didn't conform to the New World Order or the society of things. They lived underground and was making rat burgers. You know, they wasn't just straight roasting rats. They tried to make it delicate and like something reminiscent to when the world was regular, you know, i.e. a burger. So they made ground rat burgers, you know, eating that shit. Look, go watch Demolition Man, man. That was a good fucking movie. But anyway, you know, these people gonna be out here just eating whatever they could find. Squirrels, people that was afraid of squirrels, now they gonna be hunting squirrels, you know, for food and meat. You know, remember, read about it in the book of Second Kings. You know, I believe it's the sixth chapter, you know, where you had these women. Matter of fact, let me get it. Second Kings chapter 2. And I believe it's 22. No. Let me see. Second Kings 6 and what did I say? 22? It's 25. I'm sorry. Let me read down. It says, and there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until the ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. So it is, we talking about Israelites eating ass's head, the head of a donkey. It is, Israelites know the law, statute, commandments. You know, listen, donkeys and asses and horses, ponies are not lawful to eat. All right, camels and shit, that's not lawful to eat. But you hear that you got an instance where Israelites was just straight throwing in their life savings for fucking a donkey head to get by. So it says, until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth part of a cab of a dove's dung, bird shit, for 5 pieces of silver. So imagine you working all day just to have somebody come with a spatula and scrape up bird shit from the bottom of a pigeon coop. And you talking about you gonna go home and feed your family. That's how bad it got for Israel, bro. And it's gonna come back. That shit's coming right back. That shit coming right back. It's gonna come back to the 2/3. You know, niggas gonna have their hard-earned money. You know, Floyd Mayweather gonna be selling his Rolexes for fucking bird shit. You know, just to eat. You know, always flossing. You know, I just brought him up because he always flossing his, you know, Rolexes and paper dollars. But we're gonna see in that time. So, right? It says, and the fourth part of a cab's dung for 4 pieces of silver. And you know what? That's crazy because this, you know, there was clearly and obviously keeping birds and pigeons or whatever the hell they had just to sell the shit, not even to sell the bird. That's some cold hustling shit right there, bro. Niggas, they might as well have been on Notion Avenue back in the 90s. You know, anybody would have bought that up. Jake ain't shit. But it says, and as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, they cried a woman. Who's crying? A woman. Where the niggas at? Where the men at? Why the men ain't crying and yelling out? And because they dead in the wars. They dead. They went out there trying to find food and they never made it back. And I'm speculating, but if it's a time of famine, where's the man? What's the man gonna do? You think he gonna be laying in bed playing Call of Duty or on the couch? No. Niggas gonna be out there because now the pressure is on trying to get it. So, and as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, help, my lord, O king. And he said, if the Lord do not help thee, when shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor or the wine press? So if the Most High ain't helping you, how the hell I'm gonna help you? What you want me to do? You know, there's no food. There's no food in the barn floor and the wine press. What the hell? So he was being sarcastic. All right. It's verse 28. It says, and the king said unto her, what alive thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son that we may eat him today. And this is in the Bible, all right? All these people that talk about they believe in the Bible. Well, listen, the Bible, this is what the Bible is talking about. These are Israelites, all right? These are Israelites, bro. This is a real life event that took place. People are talking about they bargaining with children. They bargaining with children meat, all right? It says, this woman said unto me, give thy son that we may eat him today. Yes. Give me a human baby child so I can eat it. That's what the hell you just heard. It says, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So today we can eat your son, and tomorrow, I tell you, boy, see, when all hell break loose, you women without guidance, you fucking stupid. All right. I'm gonna say it again, and I fucking mean it the way I said it. These are women without guidance. I'm not talking about you sisters that seek to Yahweh Shemi Shai and you in this thing, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not talking about you. But these women out here without guidance, this is the type of time they're gonna be on. All right. They listen, bro. I'm gonna be surprised if these bitches hire somebody to cut off their BBL that they spent $10,000 for to use that shit for fucking bacon. Don't be surprised. Do not be surprised. And then they stitch it back up so they don't fucking bleed out. These bitches are dumb. Real fucking stupid. All right? They're real stupid. Oh, who the fuck come up with that shit? Let's eat my son today and tomorrow we can eat yours. Come on, bro. That's some dildo-headed ass fucking logic. When you think about it and actually put yourself in that situation, like who the fuck, if I'm telling you, if there was a nigga around, if there was a nigga around, I doubt that shit would have went down like that, man. I really do. That's just me. I doubt that would have happened. They were like, bitch, are you crazy? How about I beat you over the head and eat your motherfucking ass? All right. Yo, it's gonna get ugly out here. But you know what though? I'm laughing because of Proverbs, the first chapter. The Lord said, I'll laugh at your calamity. I'll mock when your fear coming. You're gonna see all these chicks out here with all these baby daddies. It is a spirit though. The Lord got them having all these baby daddies and they got all these kids. That's for them to eat. Real talk, man. That's for them to eat just to fulfill prophecy, and then they can be trading kids and bargaining and making oaths. We gonna eat your child today, and tomorrow you eat your, and then they disappear. They not in the next apartment complex across the fucking hall no more. Now you wondering where they at. Fucking shit is vacant. Where'd they go? Oh boy. So anyway, man, reading on. It says, so 2 Kings 6:28, and the king said unto her, what alive thee? And she said, she answered, this woman said unto me, listen, you can imagine a damn fucking nigga woman right now, bro, arguing, talking. This king boy, I mean, he went through shit. Talking about, this bitch right here talking about we gonna eat my son, da 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 da. Oh man, it says, give thy son that we may eat him, and she did hit her. I'm sorry, read that again. It says, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So we bore my son. That's why the scriptures say in Lamentations, I believe it is, that in the destruction of my children. Let me see. Let me bookmark this so I don't lose it. Lamentations chapter 4 and verse 10 or verse 9. It says, they that be slain with hunger. I'm sorry, let me read that again. They that be slain with the sword. And in today's time, the sword is a gun. The modern day sword is the gun. People are still out here swinging the ancient sword. Over there in the UK, they don't have no Second Amendment rights, so they still swinging machetes and shit and chopping people up with kitchen knives. So Lamentations 4 again and 9, it says, they that be slain with the sword, aka the weapon, the gun, are better than they that be slain with hunger. So it's better to die by the sword than to die by hunger. It says, for these pine away, stricken through for the want of the fruits of the field. And I quoted this in the last video I put up. So dying by hunger, you pine away meaning to be wasted away. There's a whole process of starvation, which is cruel. It is absolutely cruel. It's painful. I'm speaking off of what I read. Obviously, I never starved to that point of pining away or starved, period. But it says, stricken through for the want of the fruits of the field. So, starving and you're on your mind, all you can think about is food. So it says, verse 10, the hands of the pitiful women have sodden. When you look up the word sodden, it means to boil. I just read it. All right. In 2 Kings chapter 6. Sodden is to boil. So the hands of the pitiful women have boiled their own children. Can you imagine? I know there's a few sisters out there probably watching, listening, and probably gonna watch later on. Can you imagine boiling your child? No, I'm sure you probably just felt irksome just hearing that, like thinking about it, boiling your child. You probably looking at your kids right now, and the thought of boiling them probably wouldn't even cross your mind, and it probably just fucked your head up, thinking that actual Israelite women in the ancient world boiled their children. They boil them, put the pot on, do some. I don't know if they threw carrots, lettuce, and tomatoes or what. Because I mean, why wouldn't they just eat that than eating their children? So maybe it's just fucking, you know, trench water or creek water or whatever, with some, salt, and just wait for the shit to boil and through their child. Man, that's fucked up. All jokes aside, that's real fucked up. But hey, that's judgment from the Lord. That's judgment. That's some real serious shit. Talking about God love everybody, then why the fuck this happened? Everybody talk about God love everybody. Well, the Most High, listen, obviously he have, compassion to those he have compassion on, and he obviously hates certain people too. Hey, listen, stop fucking with the Lord, man. Stop playing around. It says, the hands of the pitiful women have sodden, or aka boiled their children or own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughters of my people. So yeah, in the destruction of Jerusalem, children were the meat for women. Remember, don't say nothing about men here. Don't say nothing about men here. I highly doubt that. Listen, that's why the scripture said that their men shall die in the wars. The brother could put that up there. Lord, when I get to it, if not, it's all good. But women without guidance, you ain't nothing. You ain't shit. All right, real talk. I'm gonna say like it is. You ain't shit without guidance. Whatever. Because you're gonna make some real stupid, irrational decisions like these bimbos did. Really sat there and had some oxtail baby, stew legs, rotisserie baby, rotisserie Jake. However they did it, it's fucked up. But verse 11, it says, the Lord hath accomplished his fury. He hath poured out his fierce anger and have kindled a fire in Zion, and they have devoured the foundation thereof. And that's terrible, bro. That's some real fucked up shit, but it's gonna happen again. I didn't hear that one. Then the guy from InfoWars say he would cannibalize. Oh yeah. He would do yeah. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, bro. I don't think he said he gonna eat his daughters. Did he say he gonna eat his daughters? I think he said he would, delete for his family and eat the people. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you're right. So the brother put up the precept I asked for. The water, my brother, says 2 Ezra 16:34. In the wars shall their bridegroom be destroyed. This is a time of war that I'm reading about. What happened to the bridegroom? They got destroyed. They got killed. They were lost in the sauce, too far in the jaw. They didn't come back home. So now, after days and days and days, hunger and hunger and hunger, baby crying, children crying. The toddler is crying, hungry. Mom, her breast is dried the fuck out. And then the older kids is crying, everybody crying. So the weakest one got to go. It's fucked up, So the baby went, and everybody wondering the older siblings wondering where the baby at. Where the baby at? A baby fucking in your stomach. That's where the baby's at. And the baby's not by auntie or uncle. Baby's gone, man. You just ate it. It's coming back. So anyway, I know it's just sound fucked up and gruesome, but I'm just keeping it a buck. In the wars shall their bridegroom be destroyed, and their husband shall perish of famine. So there you go. The brother, Basic Wisdom, Shalom, my brother, put up Isaiah 3 and 25. Thy men shall fall by the sword and thy mighty in the war. So men are going to be, Jeremiah the 30th chapter. You know, men are going to go. Men are going to go. The last men standing will be the elect. And remember, there's more women than men, period, at the end of the day. So obviously, there's going to be a shortage of men. You know, there's going to be more women out there, you know, amongst the wicked and the righteous, the few righteous out there, so to speak, the ones who the Lord going to have mercy upon. He's going to have mercy upon. But for the most part, I'm talking about the cannibalism and all of this and all that. That's for the wicked women. All these thoughts out here that's living it up in this world right now, they're going to be eating their kids. All right, so you sisters, don't look at them bitches. Don't look at them like, damn, I wish I had that. I wish I had this. Them bitches ain't gonna have shit but a baby hairs in their teeth, you know, in the near future. So don't worry about that. You know, keep believing in the Lord and keep trusting and keep praying and keep fasting and keep doing what you're doing. All right. So verse 11 says, the Lord have accomplished his fury. He hath poured out his fierce anger and have kindled a fire in Zion and have devoured the foundation thereof. So it's getting ready to come. We go back to 2 Kings chapter 6, and I'm going to close it out. So we boiled, this is verse 29. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her the next day, give thy son. And they didn't even wait bro, I'm telling you, man. See how fucking greedy these bitches are? I know there's no justification for this shit, but you ate a whole child one day. Like a child, like, man. I don't know how big this kid is or how whatever, but a whole child. I mean, let's say a chicken breast. You go to the store and buy one of them cheap rotisserie chicken breasts that they be selling at Walmart and shit. That's smaller than a child. But if you got a satiable appetite, an appetite that can satisfy you, that'll hold you down for like 2 days. You don't got to eat the whole chicken. You know, you can eat half. You know, the wing, the quarter, the breast, the thigh, the leg, and throw some shit in between. But they ate a whole kid, a whole baby in one day, and then the next day they're ready for the next one. Like I said, I'm not justifying this shit. I'm just showing you how, and they didn't even think about it. Like, they didn't even let a day pass thinking about how fucked up it was and how terrible it was. And they didn't even, you know, they didn't mourn. They didn't say, damn, this shit was fucked up. I just ate my kid. I just ate my neighbor's kid. Let me just at least think about this shit because, you know, they were just hungry again. Pass the barbecue sauce. Pass the fucking hot sauce. Holy, listen, bro. You gotta put yourself in you know, like, you know, just looking at this shit like, god damn. You know, they were just ready. So anyway, it says, give thy son that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. So she hid this kid. She hid it. All right, wherever, whether it was dead or alive, she hid it. Now I'm thinking like, can you really hide a baby that's alive or a child that's alive without it making noise and the next person discovering it? You know, maybe they strangled them, and now you just had a dead baby laying there. I don't know. I'm just illustrating the cruelty that's coming to Babylon. All right, that's all I'm doing. I'm illustrating the cruelty of things that's coming to Babylon, and I'm reading how I know how people act and think and using logic and how women are and how just whatever. You know what I'm saying? If they losing their mind now, how much more they gonna lose their mind when they can't eat, when they can't go out to eat, you know, when they can't have instant ramen noodles, when they can't, you know, eat chips and ice cream, Haagen-Dazs and whatever. Now it come down to their kid, you know? So anyway, it says, and she hid her son, and it came to pass when the king heard the words of the woman that he rent his clothes because it was so fucked up. Even this king, as a man, he was like, yo, this shit crazy. You know, I'm telling you, like the way I'm expressing this king was like, he just straight said, you know, tore the shit and just ran his clothes. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So it says that he ran his clothes and he passed by upon a wall And the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth upon his flesh. All right, so that's the point, man. That's the point I want to get. And of course, that's for the wicked, and there's instances and situations where the Lord do provide in the time of famine. Read about Elijah the prophet and the widow woman that he was with at the time. He took care of Elijah the prophet. And guess what? The woman that lodged him, that he was staying at, he took care of her too. So there's two sides to every story. There's two sides to every coin. The righteous judgment and wicked judgment. What I just read about was wicked judgment. All right, maybe Lobo another time again, which I've done before. I'll bring up Elijah the prophet and the story about the widow woman that he took care of and how the Lord fed them abundantly, and it was just nonstop food and oil that they could bake and water and so on and so forth. That's going to be for the elect. But guess what? For the elect, you're going to hear about the horror stories of the 2/3. Damn, my cousin, my cousin Keisha just ate Pookie. You know what I'm saying? You're going to hear about shit like that, man. What are you going to do? You going to cry? No, don't cry. Just be like, damn, the prophets were right. The Bible was right. This thing is happening. So anyway, I'm ended on that. I thought this was going to be like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but it is what it is. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It says again, when people realize that things just ain't the same no more, that's when they going to bug out, lose their minds, trip, and just go ape shit, man. So you brothers out there, we blessed to know this truth, and we have the upper hand and advantage and the foresight of things to come, and you sisters too. All right, the ones that are sincere about this thing, you have, hey, you got proper guidance. You know what I'm saying? So, for you women out there that, for the single sisters out there that, the faithful and so on, hey, listen, step up, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Step up and do what you gotta do to further yourself in this thing. That's all I'm gonna say. So with that, I hope this was edifying to the Lord's elect. Till next time, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai B'Shem Rekakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who taught me his truth. And salutations to the elect scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Till next time I say shalom.